hair done. And by the way, so cute. But watch at the elf. I'm getting with baby wear.
Begin to direct you, you begin to fix.
It was
Every single year, I feel like the internet introduces me to a version of childhood that I did not grow up with. Back to school hair, it consisted of beads, barrettes, ponytails, and if your mom was feeling fancy, she might put your hair in a wrap. She might press your hair if she was feeling fancy. Now in 2026, back to school hair consists of sew-ins, frontal ponytails, color hair, long acrylic nails, crop tops, lashes, bust down, the entire appointment. But when we were going to school, that just wasn't a thing. Recently, a 7-year-old girl went viral for a frontal ponytail and a full acrylic set. It was her first day of the first grade, I believe. People were just in an uproar, and I'm just like, it can't be that bad. So I went on her TikTok because I initially seen the post on Threads, and I was like, wow, we're really doing this at the age of 7 years old. She has a full wig on with a 30-inch ponytail. And I just had one question. How did we get here? Because when I was growing up, it wasn't a thing. Like frontal ponytails, wigs were seen as adults. Like only adults wore wigs, only adults did frontals. Like a wig on a child, you would get bullied, you would get picked on if you wore a wig to school. So the fact that kids are wearing wigs to school in 2026 before they fully know how to say their ABCs is insane to me. This is the original video of the little girl in the car on her way to school, being expressive, being animated, being a child, just singing along. And when I clicked on the comments, they were split. A lot of people were saying, oh, I have a 15-year-old and my daughter would never wear a frontal ponytail. I must be doing something wrong. Somebody said all she needs is the keys to an apartment. Somebody said she's missing veneers. All she needs is veneers and she'll be on her way. Other comments I seen was kids don't go through the awkward stage anymore. It was just a bunch of comments. And then on the other side of that, there was adults defending her, saying that people that had anything negative to say about the mother or the child were just jealous of her because she's adorable and she's a child and she's well groomed and she looks taken care of and she looks fed. So you're worried about the wrong thing. As long as she's taken care of, that's all that matters. It shouldn't matter if she has a full set on or she has a frontal on, because she is fed and she is well taken care of. They're jealous of her because her mother can afford to get her nails done, can afford to get her nice outfits. You're just jealous of her. And I honestly think this is where the internet has lost the art of having a nuanced conversation. Just because a child looks cleaned or well groomed or well taken care of, that does not mean that every decision that's being made for the child is appropriate. And just because you're questioning somebody's decision making skills, that does not mean that you're attacking the child. A lot of people were saying that you should feel bad for attacking the children, and I don't honestly think any of those comments underneath the post was attacking the child. More so, people were just questioning the mother's decision. And before we get into this commentary, I do want to say I don't like when people call little girls grown, because she's not grown, she's 7. Just because a child is loud, animated, expressive, have a bubbly personality, that does not mean that they're grown. They're a child and they're just being expressive. Little girls as grown are hot anytime these conversations come up, especially Black girls, because there's actual research called adultification bias that states that Black girls are perceived as more grown or mature, or they don't need to be nurtured as much as their white counterparts just because they're Black. And I think that is dangerous, because we all know that's not true. She is 7 years old. She's not an adult. I think there's a difference from saying she needs to be protected and presented as a little girl, because she doesn't even understand what image is. She doesn't even understand what clothes communicate because she's a child. So I think we need to say adults are making the decision for the child that's too grown. And I do understand where that comes from within this conversation, but I just don't think it's appropriate. In a perfect world, a little girl should be able to dress, talk, appear, exist in a world without anybody attaching anything negative to her, but that's just not the world that we live in. In a perfect world, a hairstyle would just be a hairstyle, a shirt would just be a shirt, language would just be language. A woman would be able to go outside at 2 a.m. in the morning and not feel unsafe. I would be able to be judged off my character and not the content of my skin. Our president wouldn't be an alleged, y'all know what he is. In a perfect world, these things just wouldn't exist, but we have to view the world as it is and not what it should be. So that's why I think it's dangerous for mothers and adults to dress their little girls up and claim that anybody that sees anything other than a little girl is sexualizing them. I don't think that's the case. I think as a parent, you have to protect your girl because she's going to live in the world as she thinks it should be because she's a child. She doesn't know any better. But as a parent, you know these things as this. There's kids right now that's in the government custody and ICE custody, and people are stating that little girls are popping up pregnant because they're being molested. You should think they would be safe. You should think that at these camps, people should be able to be safe, but they are not safe. But a part of being a parent is to prepare your child for the world as it is and not what it should be. And you have to start preparing your child at a very young age. Unfortunately, there is grown men that is attracted to children. Unfortunately, there is women that molest children. That's just the world that we live in. Even speaking from a personal experience, I remember being a little girl and I was more developed than my counterparts. And I remember grown men, they would look at me very differently. And sometimes when I would want to wear certain things, my father would say, no, Asia, you cannot wear that. And as a child, I would say, what's wrong with my outfit? What's wrong with my skirt? What's wrong with my body? But as an adult, I commend my dad for telling me not to wear certain things, because to me, I didn't know what was wrong. I'm thinking something's wrong with me because I can't wear these things. But my dad was able to understand that people are going to perceive you in a certain way. They shouldn't perceive you this way, but you're going to be perceived this way. So as a father, I have to protect you, and I have to let you know you can and you cannot do certain things because of your body. And again, I'm not saying women cannot wear certain things because a predator is going to be a predator, period. But I am saying perception is everything. That just comes with being a parent. You have to identify danger before a child can recognize danger. And another topic that I kind of want to touch on is, what is this teaching young girls? And I talked about this previously on my channel. We talk about hair and self-care and confidence and going where we're respected a lot over here on this channel. And I remember one time having a conversation about what hair means to a lot of Black women, because this is a picture of this young girl on the first day of pre-K. This is not just a random one-off situation. This was her first time wearing a adultified hairstyle. This is a cycle. This was her pre-K. So before she was 4 years old, 3 to 4 is pre-K. This is her pre-K. This is her kindergarten, and this is her on the first day of school. What is this teaching her about confidence, self-image before she is even able to identify or articulate what image means? A lot of Black women will understand exactly what I'm talking about because it's a different generation, but it's the same thing. Back then they had hot combs, relaxers, jerry curlers, and now we have frontals, sew-ins, and what else are we doing? I think that's pretty much it. Our thing is frontals, ponytails, bundles. That was our era. And it's teaching us the same thing. It's teaching us that we need to get our hair done. Getting our hair done has been something that's been a part of my childhood long before I knew what getting my hair done meant. As a child, getting my hair done is getting the hair done. The hair before it's natural, before it's touched, but when it's untamed, this hair is not done. I can't go out and exist in the world with this type of hair. So getting our hair done meant I'm going to stretch, pull, curl, straighten, slick, cover, and change my hair into something that I cannot recognize. I'm going to turn my hair into something unrecognizable at a very young age. At a very young age, I was getting my hair done. And I even talked in a previous video about, as a little Black girl, getting your hair done was super important. I remember days where I would miss school if I did not have my hair done. Not having your hair done was a big thing. And again, getting our hair done back in the early 2000s versus what getting our hair done today is something completely different. I feel like they're starting to get into beautification younger and younger and younger, because in first grade and kindergarten, it was beads and bows and barrettes, and we had ponytails. Wearing a wig as a child that's suffering. As an adult, I hate wearing wigs. As an adult, I hate wearing frontals. I haven't worn a frontal wig probably in about four years. If you're an OG on this channel, y'all know I used to always do frontal installs. But as an adult, it's painful. It's a lot of maintenance. So I would feel bad if I was a 5, 6, 7-year-old child having to deal with the upkeep of a wig and being bullied at school because people are asking, "Mommy, what is that? What's that lace? What is that crust?" Y'all know how laces are. They only last for a good 2 to 5 days before they start looking like somebody's door on a porch. Y'all know exactly how laces are. So all of this is literally teaching a child that I am not good enough. And it's subconsciously because, you know, you get your hair done and you feel pretty for the moment, but later on you realize why a lot of Black women do not feel comfortable going outside and showing your natural hairline. I used to never show my natural hairline. I didn't start wearing my natural hair a lot until I went to college, and that's because I went to a HBCU and I saw that it was normal and there was beauty in afros and just froze and ponytails and curls and kinks. I saw that for the first time in my life when I went off to college at 18, 19 years old. And that's when I felt more comfortable to go natural. That's when I stopped doing the perms and the relaxers and I started wearing my natural hairstyles, and I started being more expressive with like braids and twists. But prior to that, I always covered my hair because subconsciously as a child, parents were teaching me that my hair was not good enough because it always had to be covered and dyed and pulled and laid to the side. Like the focus was beauty more than it was enhancing. Like you have to learn to teach your child that it's an option, it's not a requirement. But a lot of little girls are learning that it's a requirement for you to get your hair done. I feel like maybe 2016, 2017, my generation, we just learned to live in our natural hair and enhance our natural beauty. But prior to that, a lot of us grew up hating our natural hair because of things like this. So more so than it making her look too grown or the style is just not for a child, what are you teaching little Black girls when you start them this young? Because this is nothing new, y'all. Look at these videos. I'm gonna play a few videos of her getting her hair done, of her even doing her own hair, and that's also another topic that I want to touch on. But first, let me show y'all a few videos and then we'll touch on building a social media platform for a child, because that's a whole nother thing that I want to touch on in this video.
Hair done. And by the way, if someone calls you unpretty, don't talk to them. Just walk away and feel that you're pretty just the way you are. Tamani. Yes. What does my hair look like? Long. Yeah, but like, how is it? It's pretty. What does it look like? A girl, I'm doing a great job. Use the straight iron because it like smokes really easily, right?
Yeah, it'll fry your hair off sometimes.
Yes. So
Fendi can't use it herself either.
But you said, but I can use it when Nana comes here. There she is. Right there.
I know. That is so funny.
I love my hair. It's like so cute, but white at the end. And a little out. So first we just had to get my hair like we just had to get my hair activated real quick because that's how it's went. So I just had to get it straight, but at the end it's gonna be laid. It's laid. So watch at the end. But I'm not done yet. So I like my hair, and look, that is how I'm just feeling myself. My name is Cindy. Feeling myself. And that's how I'm been getting with Baby Well. I'm gonna be a baby so bad. And this is the front one. I love This is my sweet little mommy.
Hi.
My name is Shantae. My name is Shantae. Sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes I don't listen.
You're gonna have to start calling the police.
No. Hi guys, it's your girlfriend.
Imagine her growing up and reading all of these nasty comments of things that people have said about her on the internet. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, people shouldn't leave rude comments. We should focus on the people leaving mean comments. But they are, and they will, because again, that is not the world that we live in. So I think as a parent, you should preserve her childhood, let alone try to create a digital footprint for a child that doesn't even know what self-image is, doesn't even know what a digital footprint is, doesn't even know the importance of having a self-image. Like, this child doesn't know about any of this. And then it really makes me sad because a lot of times it's always black little girls. Like, we are already targeted and the world already wants to make it seem like we are growner than we actually are and try to make us grow up faster than we actually need to be. So as a parent, you should just be trying to preserve that for her, putting her in booty shorts, because it's beyond the hairstyles, y'all. This kind of goes on into the hairstyles, the nails, the clothing, the vernacular, the mannerisms. Like, it's a lot that goes into it, but this video was just to focus on the hairstyle. I honestly can talk about this on and on and on because it really makes me sad that there's mothers out there that would objectify their child like this. Like, after she seen that post, I think it kind of fueled her. Like, after that post went viral, she started posting so many things on her story, showing throwback pictures of her in like third or fourth, not third or fourth grade, 3 or 4 years old, with frontals and sew-ins. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, these ponytails look so heavy on her head. And the only thing I can think about is that meme that people say, oh, my mom didn't perm my hair when I was 3, I would have had a body like this. Or if I would have had, y'all know the little saying that people say. It just reminded me of that, because in this case, she is going to be saying, oh, if my mom would have never been installing frontal ponytails, I wouldn't have alopecia at the age of 10 years old, tension alopecia, because this is a lot. And then another thing I noticed is I don't even think the mom is black. That's another thing. Or I don't know if she's black, but the mom looked like she's Puerto Rican or she's biracial. She definitely does not look black. I don't know. I just think that's also another issue in itself. You should be teaching her to love herself, because a lot of us, we didn't get taught that at a young age. So that's why it disheartens me that the mom is on here promoting this and pushing this, and anybody that questions it, they're a hater or they're jealous of a little girl, or you don't have any kids so you shouldn't talk about it. And it's just like, what happened to the village? Like, when y'all need a village, it's everybody. But then when someone is questioning your decision making, it's, oh, these are my kids. Let me just go ahead and go. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in my next commentary. Peace.